Hi guys, welcome as we do this question. I read the question. Find the value of k given that equation 9x squared minus 42x plus k is a perfect square. So guys, we start off the question. Guys, I've already done the question and as I just explained. Here is our question. But before we attempt or I show you how I have done this, let's have an example here of a perfect square. Guys, we have here x plus 2 squared. That is a perfect square. And it gives us an equation we call a perfect square. Since it is derived from a number which has been squared, from a term which has been squared. And of course, it makes a quadratic equation. Guys, let's say that you want to represent with x plus 2 squared the term x squared plus 4x. So guys, if you want to do that, I will put x plus 2 squared minus 4. And the reason why, guys, I put minus 4 is because for this term, it is supposed to have x squared plus 4x plus 4. So whenever I put it here and I want it to represent my term up to that point, guys, it means I'll have to get away 4. Because remember, this one has this 4, which is plus 4. So for me to represent this term up to this point, I'll have to put negative 4 like that. And so, guys, we continue. When I do that, and before I continue, guys, now you can see this x is square root of x squared. This 2 is a half of 4, and this negative 4 we have put here is a square of 2. And so if I were now to write the whole equation, guys, I would write this. I would write x plus 2 all that squared, this minus 4, and then I write plus 4. And because it's a complete perfect square, guys, this minus 4 plus 4 is equals to 0. And now, guys, this forms the basis of our equation that we are going to do. So before we do the equation, we do the question, we have the formula right here. Here we have a x squared plus bx plus c. For us to get the perfect square, to complete the square, or to look at it so that we can get the perfect square, we have to divide by a throughout, so that we have only a coefficient here, that is 1. So guys, we now go back to what we have done here, just as we have done there above. Here we shall say x, just as we said here x, while we had x squared here. And then for this point, we had 4 here, and this one we said 2. So the same case, our term here then is now going to be, this is now going to be a half of this term. And then we square. Minus, this is what, guys, we were doing here. We were saying minus 4, which is the square of 2, which is here. So the same case, the square which is here, we now come and subtract it from our equation here. And then from there we say plus CA. Just like, guys, we said plus 4. And if it is a complete or perfect square, then minus this, that is b all over 2a squared minus plus c all over a should be equal to 0. And so, guys, let's now come to our equation. Our equation is right here. We now, to get the coefficient of 1, we divide by 9 there. Divide by 9, divide by 9. And this is what we have done, so that we get now x squared minus 42 over 9x plus k over 9. Guys, now we repeat the system of what we have formerly done. Now we come and say x, just as we said this was x squared, we said x. Then we come and say a half of this, but remember the sign we maintain. For this, we maintain. If it is a plus, we put a plus there. So this is 42 over 9 multiplied by 2. Is a half. This is a half of that. Then we put a square. Minus. When we come here, we now look for the square of that. And that's what I have done here. Just as, guys, we had here, our 4 here, you can see, is the square of 2 squared. 4 is equals to 2 squared. And that's what we have done here. We have squared this, and I have put there. Now plus k over 9. Now that we are told it's a perfect square, then these two terms should equal to 0. And so therefore, guys, I have come here and said negative 42 over 18 squared is equals to negative k over 9. Because when you say this is equals to that, guys, you know you'll have to put, it would be like this, negative 42 squared all over 18, all that is squared, plus k over 9 is equals to 0. So guys, I can now put k over 9 on this other side. It also becomes a negative. And so therefore the negatives will cancel. So now guys, after that, we make k the subject of the formula. Making k the subject of the formula means that 9 will come to this point. And then we can square our 42 and 18. Once we do that using the calculator, first of all, the numerator is 158.76 over the denominator 324. When you divide that, guys, we get 49. From there, guys, now we can come and do testing to see whether we are correct. So we have the equation right here, 9x squared minus 42x plus k. Guys, I now put k as 49. And let's see whether it will be a perfect square. So guys, I'll come here and say, look for two numbers. If you multiply, that is, so we have 9 times 49 is 441. So guys, we are looking for two numbers. If you multiply, you get 441. And if you add, you get 42. So that is 21. And so you have 9x squared minus 21x minus 21x plus 49. And so therefore we shall have, factor out, you can now put a bracket here, whereby we shall have 9x squared minus 21x minus, there we put 21x minus 49. This becomes a minus because of the bracket. And so therefore, guys, we can factor out here. We factor out 3. X, we are left with 3. X minus 7 minus, here we can factor out again 3, 7. We are left with 3x minus 7. And so therefore, guys, our solution, our verification is justified because we have 3x minus 7, 3x minus 7, which represents 3x minus 7 squared. So guys, you can see this is a perfect square. And so therefore, guys, thank you so much for listening to me. Bye.